Hello, and welcome to the Random Horror Show. I am your podcast horror hostess, Keisha Lacey, coming straight out of the Iron Pine Curtain, better known as East Texas. And thank you all for joining me for tonight's horror episode. I have a special treat for you. You're gonna love it. We had a super awesome blast. I'm talking about my guest, Miss Christine M. Germain, horror author. I'm talking about her books, just blew me away. The Brother's Curse, The Stone, The Curse of Mastema, and also her third book, Christopher's Curse. I have done two review podcasts over her books. She is an amazing writer, very creative, just a wild imagination, just going into this world that she has created. Well, she stopped by the Random Horror Show and have a chit chat with your girl right here, and I'm talking about we had the most amazing time. So sit back and relax while me and Miss Christine Germain chopping it up on the Random Horror Show.
Hey!
Hey, how are
Good.
you?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning, or how some people say, grand rising. And I'm
Grand rising. I have a friend that does that.
my cousin does that too. She's like, grand rising. And I said, Pillsbury Doughboy biscuit.
I can't stand it.
So people don't come up to me with that grand rising. I totally understand it, but it's like I'm like, I can't help it. Just
segments like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna start doing that. I was like, but I have my little pigtails on and I'm looking like crazy. And I have my coffee with me and my water.
There you go. We're the same way. I have my coffee, my water. I did my hair. I didn't know we were doing video, so I already fixed myself up. I mean, I have work later on, but
But
yeah,
you know what? That's okay. You all cute and fixed up and everything, girl. If you had a bonnet on and stuff, it's still you still be
yes.
cute.
Yeah, and I already have my bonnet this morning. I remember I was talking to one of my friends, and he video called me at 10:30 in the morning, and he saw me with the bonnet, and he was like, "What is that?" I was like, "It is a bonnet, dude." He was like, "Why do you have it on?" I'm like, "Well, you called me on FaceTime, so this is what you get at 10:30 in the morning."
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Get used to the bonnet. You done already seen the bonnet. Y'all everybody know about the bonnet and everything. So don't even be surprised. Don't even act like you brand new. Okay? Cause it was so funny when I started wearing, when I was dating this guy and we lived together, and I put my bonnet on at night, and he's white, and he just looked, and he was just like, whatever. but hold on, that bonnet came off in 30 minutes.
They don't know about that.
That bonnet was gone. I was like, well, baby, I gotta protect my hair. That's okay.
Yeah, they're so sweet about it. I love dating white guys. I think we spoke about our love for this world, and they're very sweet about it. They're like, oh, okay. I had my do rag, I was ready. I looked like somebody straight from Compton. I was like, okay, it's time to it's time to go to sleep now. I'm about to put on this stuff. So take me as I am. Love all of this because I do. I have the bonnet, I have the do rag, and I got the silk scarf. I don't play.
Girl, I don't play either. I have about 3 or 4 bonnets, 2 little do rags, and I'm just like, this is me. This is what you're gonna see when you wake, now when I wake up,
That's it. That's it. That's it. You know, you
ain't
gotta
no
love us. You gotta love us. You know, like for everything, like every part of us, you gotta love. You know, we're not here to be getting dolled up like that 24 hours, 48 hours a day. That's just not how it is. You know.
right, right. I had uh I was married and my ex-husband he's black
Hmm.
and he just hated that I had a bonnet and a do-rag on. And I'm just like, but you shouldn't do that. Like, that's
Yeah,
weird.
that is weird because then most men do like to wear the do rag too, so they can keep their waves on check. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you should already know what the deal is because you black too.
Girl, and he had a do and he always wore a do-rag. But then when I did my big chop
Hmm.
and I went natural, he hated it. He's like, "Oh, you look like a boy."
Oh
Yeah, that's the reason why he's my ex-husband.
my god! You
I know.
know that is just terrible. I love a big chop. I mean, to me, it's so you know, revolutionary. You know, like it's just something that a girl needs to do. I know most women, especially black women, are attached to their hair. And for me, you know, when I was separating from my ex husband, the first thing I did was I had already had my hair in a mohawk. So I had the top and then I had the sides and around shaved. So I only had the top with hair that went over like a big bang, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I decided to shave the whole shit off like 7 years ago. I went bald. I went bald twice. But this time I said I'm gonna grow it out natural because my hair was always soft and curly, and I was like, I want to see what my natural hair looks like. And from then on, 7 years, and I just grew it. But I went through the stages because we all go through stages when we have that big chop. But a man should be able to embrace that, you know, because it's not about the hair. The hair doesn't make who we are as a person, as a woman, you know. It's what we have inside of us, you know. It's spiritual. And I think that it's a great feeling when you chop off your hair. You just feel like a sense of relief, you know.
Uh, it, you're so correct. You're so correct right there cuz my mom, she cut my hair
Mm.
because I seen Grace Jones. Uh
Oh yeah.
yes, Grace Jones what was it? Conan the Destroyer.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
she has always been very iconic to me. I love her facial expressions, things like that. Her
Mhm.
brother used to have a church here in Longview, Texas before he moved his congregation, I believe, in California. But she used to visit my area when her brother had his church here. And when I was a little girl and I watched, seeing Grace Jones, I was like, oh my God, so amazed by her beauty and
Mhm.
everything. Just everything about Grace Jones I just love.
Mhm.
And I was like, I want my hair just like Grace Jones. And she cut it and of course my grandmother and my dad, they're like, oh, she looks like a little boy.
Mhm.
But I was just like, no, I felt so great just having that little short afro hair. And yes, I got ridiculed and teased about it, but still, I loved it. I wore afro from like second grade to like fifth grade.
Mhm.
And it just started so young because to me it was like not about my hair.
Yeah.
It's just me being me.
Mhm. That's what it is. I mean, like I said, like you know, if it was up to me, like I would cut it off again. I mean, I would probably wouldn't shave it bald because it was a process. It was a process for the hair to grow back evenly because I
Hmm.
shaved it like on the sides and around. Pretty much like the sides were still like a little bald as the hair was growing out. I documented like all like every month how my hair was growing out until it grew long. So I have pictures, and you can, which helped
Hmm.
like immensely. So I put it on the sides, and then my hair grew out on those parts that I kept shaving, and then the whole thing grew out. But it was a process, and then you learn your hair texture and what goes with what. And to me, I was like, when I was in sixth grade, I think like I begged my mom to go buy that just for me. Like, remember, like, just for
For
me. Like,
me, yeah.
and you see this perm commercial, and you just out here like, yeah. So where we do that at? Just for me, and I begged her, and she put this perm, and and when I had it, like I felt great, like my hair was straight and everything because I never embraced my natural hair. Because the thing is, my grandmother like used to put so much grease in my hair, you know, with my mom. So my mom used to put grease, but not as much as my grandmother. So I think they ruined the texture of my hair. And my mom had got
Right.
my hair straightened when I was 5 because I begged to get it straightened with a hot comb. And I don't know if that might have ruined the texture of my hair because my hair is like the texture of like Tia and Tamara Mori. Like I have like I don't know if you've seen my hair like very curly. So to me, I was like, how the fuck did I see my hair like that when I was younger? But when I was a baby, I had that hair. But when I was growing up in my preteens, my hair just seemed a little bit coarse. It was soft, but it's coarse. It didn't have those curls. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it took me all these years to like, kind of just like embrace it as the baldness and then grow it out and stuff like that. And I love natural hair. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, it bothers me to see black women not like their own hair, you know? Um, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it don't. And that whole stigma of that our hair is terrible, is bad, and oh, it's so and that's been passed down from like generations, decades, that our hair
Mm-hmm.
is horrible. And I was just like, no, it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
we just needed to like get back to what they did long ago of
Yeah.
taking care of our hair, taking a lot of love, TLC with our hair.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
my son, oh my God, my son has very long hair. I just did his twist, and his
Mm-hmm.
hair is super thick and very long. And
Yeah.
people swear up and down that he's mixed. And I'm like, no, he's not mixed. He's full black. Now, my daughter,
Yeah.
she is mixed, and
Mm-hmm.
he had more hair than her when he
Oh,
was a
wow.
baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
hers hers was scattered everywhere like little old cat hair and everything. And she finally started growing hair when she's close to 2, and her
Mm-hmm.
curls started to come in. But my son, shh, that
It's different.
baby, this he looking like James Brown with a wig on as a baby. But
Oh,
people swear
okay.
up and down that he is mixed, or he's Dominican, or his father is
Mm-hmm.
black. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, he is full black.
He's full
And he
black. Just because
loves,
he has nice, yeah, just because he has nice hair doesn't mean that he's mixed. Like that's the whole thing too. I can't stand is that they think that you're mixed with something when they see you have nice hair. It's like no, it's just I was born with that hair.
yes, and his father had long hair too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when we was married, his dad had really long hair. But
Yeah.
but it just still baffles me of like how people are, especially our community, how they just so hung
Mm-hmm.
up about like the
Mm-hmm.
only time that we can have really good hair is that we have to have an admixture or something, when that's
Mm-mm.
the case. Is not true.
Mm-hmm. It's all
To
about
have
taking care of your hair.
it really is, and everything. Girl, we done talked about dang hair care and everything. Girl, you tickled me. You said you had a mohawk. I was like, ooh, I had a mohawk too.
I have pictures when I used to bartend. Like that's how my hair was, and I'll send you a photo when I was bald and when I had the mohawk. I loved it. It was great. I had it for 5 years when I was married, and the reason why I shaved it that way is that I didn't like my hairdresser just started to like her hands just weren't going with my hair. I used to have like that Holly Berry short hair. I used to love keeping my hair short like that. Like every 2 years or every year, I used to cut my hair short, put like I used to dye it. I bleached my hair blonde. I've done so much of that shit. I've had weave in my hair, all types of stuff. And then I said, well, let me do it myself. And then I bought myself clippers, and I did that. And then I just would put a texturizer, which I didn't even need, but I just took a texturizer and I just put it in the front so it can just be smooth like a long bang. And then that was it. And I just rocked that for 5 years. My grandmother hated it. My mother didn't like it. Nobody, like, they did not like it, but I loved it. I was like, that shit got me a great job in Manhattan. So, because I was different.
Oh my gosh, you are definitely a Pisces. And when you just say when you rock the Halle Berry cut, girl, that was the haircut that I
Yeah.
rocked in high school. At half of my 20s, it's that Halle Berry haircut, girl. That Halle Berry haircut was something else.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
That's just you had to have the Halle Berry haircut. I even strolled, through your pictures on your page, and I saw like how versatile you were with your hairstyles, and you look beautiful in all of them. I
Well,
one
thank
picture
you.
that you have, you welcome. One of the pictures that I saw of you, you actually look like one of my friends. It's actually scary. But I said, oh my God, you guys look alike. But I said, look at the different hairstyles that you have, and they all go so well. But yeah, very, very pretty, very regal. I said, that's nice. I like to see women that embrace different styles and stuff like that. But like we say, it's about taking care of your hair. It's a lot of patience. When the first time I shaved my hair bald, I didn't have patience. I grew it out and then I put the texturizer again. But the second
Hmm.
time around, I said, we're going to do this the right way. And then I documented it week after week after week. I started rubbing argan oil on my head. I mean, you already saw hair within a week started growing out. It looked like a Caesar haircut in a way when it was growing out. And I was trying to find different products. I went on YouTube to do those natural hair journey videos, which is
Hmm.
what helped me. I watched a girl and I saw how she did the big chop and then how she grew it out. And I was like, once I saw how long her hair was, I was like, I took a scissor and I cut my bangs in the middle of the night. I was like, this is gone and we're shaving the rest. Like I did it on purpose to know when I woke up, I had no choice but to shave to shake the rest of it off. And that was it.
That is
That was
so.
it. I never looked back. And my hair is down to my back as I straighten it, but it's a lot to maintain. So I just keep it up in a bun or in a ponytail, or sometimes I'll leave it out curly. But it's too damn hot to have any hair out,
Girl, what you talking about? Cause I have my little hair in three little pigtails,
honey.
and I put it up in a ponytail, but I can't. I have to adjust my ponytails and stuff because I noticed if I put it too high, my head started hurting. If I put it like in the middle, I'm down for the count. So I had to low slump. I had to low sling my ponytail, cause girl, it
Mm-hmm.
is way too hot. It is super hot for to be cute and everything. Girl, I put some rollers, the flex rods in there. I said, oh, okay, and I'm gonna be cute with my little curls and stuff. Nope. That humidity
No.
said, oh, no, there's some, not today, girl. We're not going to have no curls.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
That's
Just,
how it
just
was.
too
That's
early.
how it was. It said, not today, not today. But
Mm-mm.
I like to thank you. girl, we, shoot, we talking like, shoot, this is our first meet and like, shoot,
Yeah.
we already there. We already there. Look, I wish you could see me with the, we already there, girl. We already there.
That's how we do it. That's how I am. Like we could chat about anything. I'm down with it. Cool as a cucumber.
Well, thank you for joining me, the Random Horror Show, and I am so excited to have Christine Germain. She is the author of the Brothers Curse Saga books, and these books, I'm telling you, I haven't got into this.
Girl,
Of course,
yeah.
let our
The,
podcast
it,
listeners know who you are.
okay, the
They
phone was
already know
cutting.
who you are, but let them know who you
Yes.
are.
All right. Well, first and foremost, the phone was cutting off, so I didn't hear too much of the introduction. So I do want to thank you for having me on. This is really exciting. So, like, I'm just happy that I got to meet you on Instagram. So I definitely want to thank you for inviting me on this podcast. So as you know, I'm Christine M. Germain. I am the award-winning author of the Brothers Curse Saga series. I've been writing since I was 11 years old. I am a film major, and I've studied literature and also right now screenwriting. I've had a passion for writing stories at a very young age, and I'm hoping to pursue something really big with my series and just my creative work.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
You really are, and plus you're a film major and getting screenwriting, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you're just like that is like some typical Pisces stuff because we always want to dip dive in so many things, but I
Yeah.
love that the creativity that you have, and like you started writing at a young age, and I think that is so wonderful because that's how stories get started is
Mhm.
when you write at a young age, it's not
Mhm.
like, well, I went to the pond and we fished. I could
Mhm.
tell you was like very imaginative, and that
Mhm.
instead of just like taking just one simple thing, like you could just look at a scene and you just write like this whole 4 page of like the
Mhm.
animals and the trees, and you throwing in all these characters. And
Yeah.
I love that. I love that creativity right there. But you're also, I'm just gonna say it like this, you are also nominated for Indie Story Geek for people to, and Ahura just fell down. My Ahura doll just fell down on me. I
I said,
was
"Are you
like, what is
okay?
that?
Are you
I'm
okay, girl?"
like, what just happened? But you're but you're nominated for your brother's curse book. And if you want to go and vote for Christine, you can go into Indie Story Geek, and the brother's curse is nominated,
Yeah.
and y'all go vote, vote, vote and everything,
Yes, vote.
because I'm just saying, like, this book, woo.
It's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. So, like, what is the inspiration of you just writing the Brothers Curse saga series? Like, what is the inspiration all behind that? And I know we had some private conversations, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of demonology in this and everything. Like, you deal with demons, and a lot of times there's books that vampires, werewolves,
Mhm.
it's always like that main thing that
Yeah.
people go to. But you actually made demons sexy.
I like the way you say that.
You did. You made demons sexy, and low key. I find werewolves. That's my number one gem. Sexy
Mhm.
and demons.
Yeah. 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 I
So it's.
I think, well, for me, when I was younger, I liked scary movies, but at the same time, I was scared of them. So if I watched it, I was always crying at the end, running to my parents' room, my grandparents' room, wanting to sleep with them. And they were like, stop watching it and you won't get scared. But I was just always
Mhm,
curious. And, I remember when I started, like, even with werewolves, American Werewolf in London, it was one of my favorite movies when I was younger. I loved that. I loved Wishmaster. I loved The Exorcist. I loved anything that had to do with demon possession. 976 Evil, which they
mhm.
rarely play, but that was another movie that I loved. The Gate, with the little creatures that were underneath the house.
Oh man, that movie was cold blooded. Oh, that was
Yes.
scary.
Yeah, that was really creepy for me. That something like that could be hidden underneath the soils of someone's home. That's the same thing as poltergeist. So with those movies when I was younger, I had this fascination with demons. But when the
Mhm,
Brothers Curse came about, was that one night I was watching TV and I stumbled upon Sleepwalkers. And they had a made for TV, so they didn't show everything. Back in the day, they would cut parts out so that
Mhm.
it would, it was a certain running time, like on regular television. So when I watched it, and I saw the actor Brian Cross, I was like, well, I said this is a good looking guy, but he's like super evil. He's like the shapeshifter, and
Mhm.
and him and his mother wanted to, you know, um, you know, they wanted to take the souls of young girls. I guess it was to preserve their existence. I think it was the thing that Brian Cross was the son, and he had to extract the souls of the young women, and then he would put them into his mother. That way, that she can keep her youth and stay young.
Mhm.
And then there was a lot of incest stuff going on between the mother and the son. At
Mhm.
that age, I didn't really understand too much of that, what was going on with how they had to kind of procreate to keep their existence going. But there was something about the lore of the shapeshifters and the fact that cats were their worst enemies, even though they were shapeshifter demon
Mhm.
cats. But
Mhm.
cats were the ones that would pretty much put them non-existent. They would destroy their kind. I
Mhm.
was fascinated by that. But not only that, when I saw the antagonist, I said to myself, and this is at 12 years old, I said, what if that was me as the young girl that he was pursuing? And the shapeshifter guy comes into town and he's after my soul. Now, this is what I came up with, that he was after my soul, kind of similar to that, and that he had
Mhm.
a brother that was after me too. There's two brothers. They were after my soul so they can resurrect their father. So I was
Mhm.
like, this sounds really cool. And I said, well, you know what? Let me write this. And the fact of the matter is that when as a young girl, especially like growing up as a teenager, preteen in the 1990s, we never really saw ourselves as like African American women in these kind of like positions in these kind of movies. And I said, well, I would want to see a girl that looks like me in this kind of story. So that's when the Brothers first came about. And then I started to write ideas, and I started it when I was 12. And year after year, I would write things down, and anytime I had an idea, I would write it down in my notebook and stuff. And it was a short story, and I didn't finish it until I was 19.
Mhm.
So after I finished it, I wanted to rewrite it because I felt like something was missing in the book. I said it was just too cliche that the demon
Mhm.
is trying to take my soul. How many horror movies do we know where someone's trying to take somebody's soul? You know. So to me, it was very boring. It was very cliche, and I said, "Well, there's something missing, and I don't want to use this soul extracting type story. And if I can't figure out how to write it, then I'm just going to put it away," which is what I did for 20 somewhat years.
Mhm.
Until 4 years ago, I was at work and I said, well, you know what? Let me try to rewrite this story because I lost it in 2012. Along with my home. So I had to start this book from
Sorry about
scratch with
that.
only memories of what I had of the story. And then when I met a friend of mine, I was working as a nurse, all like around her every day. She would have a different stone, and she put me onto the amethyst. And I found out that the amethyst is actually an astrological. Not, it's like not astrological, but it's our stone for Pisces.
Yeah, it is. I have two of them.
Yeah.
I'm holding
Yeah.
one of them right now.
That was when I realized that when I saw this stone, and I said, "This is so beautiful." And when I did some research on it, I said, "Oh wow, that's our stone for the Pisces." And I said that was the missing piece. I said, "Well, why don't we use the stone as the prop to where we keep the father inside, and
Mhm.
not the sons have to extract the father and 24 entities from this stone that the girl is wearing as a pendant." And I said, "Here we go. We got a story." And then I sat down and I said, if I had to sit in a theater and watch this as a movie, how would I see it start? And from there, that's how I wrote the movie. And I just visualized every single thing, the atmosphere, the scenery, everything. And I wrote it as if I was writing a screenplay in a way. And that's how the story came about. And here we are.
Hey, here we are with this. And you did not let up like there is like no boundaries on the way how like on the way how you had these kills, and it's
Hmm.
very gory, and the macabre of it, and I mean I was sitting there reading, I was like, damn, oh my god, shit, she ain't even let up on this right here, hot that, I'm like, oh, I'm like, woo, and I love that, I love when I read any like horror literature,
Hmm.
and I noticed that some authors a little different, especially whenever you have a character, you know, you're killing them off, or you know,
Hmm.
you describe them the grisly murder of like the demon, or you know,
Hmm.
or vampire, or whatever like that. um
Hmm.
you know, some of them play it safe, but you did not play it safe within this series. You did not play it safe. I mean,
Hmm.
down to the way they skin them, and then this liquid, yellow liquid coming out. I'm like, oh my god.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
You know that.
you, I'm like,
Yeah.
you really giving them a night, you really giving the reader a nightmare, and heart palpitations, and may have to go to the ER with this. And
My
I was
friend
like,
said it.
I was like, she ain't gonna give, she is not gonna let this go. Like, and that's what I loved about this. I was like, yes, yes,
But
baby.
don't forget, but you know what, at the same time, not only with the scares, but because I always read that people say, it's gory and stuff, and I said, well, let's not forget the story and what it's about,
Right.
because a lot of horror authors just feel like it's just about the scares, about the gore, it's about the killing, it's about, no, this to me, yeah, it's about that, but along the way, this is a story, and this is a story about this young woman that's caught up in something that she didn't ask to be caught up in.
Right.
And on top of that, in the midst of trying to protect and finding out about this necklace, everyone around her is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
These grisly murders and stuff, but there's a reason for all of these murders happening. It's just not out of the whim, and we find out why these young men went missing and why these demons were eating men. We don't get spoilers, but come on now, this book has been out almost 2 years. I won't
Right,
spoil the
right,
second book for you, but it's okay to talk about it at this point. But
right.
there was a reason for them doing that, and that was to preserve their own existence, and they could only eat men.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
most of the time when you watch a horror movie, it's always about a woman being the one being attacked and being
Right,
victimized.
right.
But this time, this is men being victimized. And we don't know, why are they victimizing men? Why are men are the ones really mostly being the ones that are killed and skinned? And we find out why. We find out that these demons have to exist by eating young men, and it's between a certain age, because they don't need
Mm-hmm.
eat anyone, I think, past 20 something years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's to preserve their youths, and also when they do eat these young men, they can also shapeshift into them. You can
That's
save
right.
shapeshift. Yeah, yeah. You can shapeshift into anyone that you eat or that you come in contact with for, even a short period of time. If you interact with someone, you can actually shapeshift into them. And that was something that was pretty creepy about these brothers, is that
Mm-hmm.
is that one of them, you clearly knew who one of them was, but the second one was a little bit more mysterious and very calculating and very vindictive.
Yes, yes, and that
Yeah.
brother right there. I was like, cause okay, you know, Jason, you know, like I was like,
Yeah.
all right, you know, we see like how his reaction, you know, his
Mhm.
intentions with the main character Crystal. And then
Mhm.
what happened? He fall in love with the girl. He fall in love. So you got some romance with it.
Mhm.
But like you said, you got to understand the story. Yes, it's like very gory, scary, everything else like that. And
Mhm.
and she did not ask for all this. She really
Mhm.
did. And with all these murders, I mean, she has to not only deal with grieving, the grieving process of her parents,
Mm-hmm.
she
Mm-hmm.
back to this small town
Mm-hmm.
because of all of this craziness that's like been happening. And
Mm-hmm.
then she's finding out more that she has an importance of
Yeah.
why all of this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Even her Terrence. I love how you wrote Terrence and everything because I couldn't stand his ass. But we found out like Terrence is a demon, and
Yeah. Yeah.
everything. And when you said that touching or being in contact with somebody, I mean the professor, that
Yeah.
threw me off. Okay, that threw me off.
But we know at the end of the day that he wasn't a demon. He was
Right,
killed and someone
right.
shapeshifted into him. So a lot of people,
Exactly.
yeah, some people thought that he was the demon. I was like, if you pay attention to the scene with him and the ant, because the ant was secretly seeing him. Because in the beginning,
Mhm.
the ant was dating someone, he just didn't know who. And when you found
Mhm.
out that she was dating him, at the end, you see that the demon actually crossed over his body when he was leaving
Mhm.
the back kitchen. So you knew he
Mhm.
died, and someone was already prepared, killed him, shapeshifted into him, and was waiting. This person was at least 20 or 30 steps ahead of what was happening and knew, what was going to
Yes.
happen next. Yeah.
Yes, and see, and that was a big surprise right there because I'm like, all right, the professor, he was cool and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
like you
Mm-hmm.
said, when she got there, and then he started talking crazy. I said, oh, hold up, that ain't the professor. And the way how he killed, I said, Lord Jesus, not the ain't he? I said, no, ain't he? No, ain't he? No, my heart just sank. I said, not the ain't. And it was, and I like the dynamic that Crystal got into it with her, and she's
Oh,
mad
yeah.
at her aunt,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like super pissed off, and I'm kind of like Crystal, like hold on, like I'm just like hold on, baby, your aunt, she just doing what your mama said,
Yeah.
and she doesn't really, and everything,
Yeah.
you're the
Yeah.
firstborn, and I understand your anger and but I was like, but don't do your auntie like that, baby. Baby, don't do your I was like that, don't do your auntie like that, baby. This is so I'm like, yes, it's so much to digest, but baby, don't do your auntie like that. And then
Yeah,
so
that was pretty grimy.
I was like, oh Lord, and then the auntie, I said, oh Lord, the auntie got killed, and the girl,
Yeah.
oh Lord, I was like,
Oh,
oh my
yeah.
heart. But but shoot, I'm telling you, your characters are like I like your characters. I really do. I
Thank
like the
you.
sheriff, the sons and stuff. Cause like one
Yeah.
of them was the old booty hole, and I was just like, why you, why y'all tripping on your daddy like that? Like we know how, like your dad, we know how he is. But I was just like, why y'all tripping on your dad?
Yeah, Philip was the one that had more of a big mouth and just didn't really get along with him too much. But you find out, because I put a little bit like of a backstory how like their family's kind of whatever, because their mom left the father many
Mm-hmm.
years prior when they were younger. So you get a huge backstory with Sheriff Mills, Justin, and Philip. So you get a backstory with them. There's a lot of surprises in this. You're not even ready for that. There's
You know
so
what?
much.
You know what? You say it like that. I think I am ready. I'm a, I think.
Ty- Tyrone just finished it, and he was just like, "Really, really."
Dead, dead. Oh yeah, Tyro reaction like that. Then yes, it's the second book real good.
I love it. This is actually my sixth time rereading it right now. I'm almost done because I want to read the third one. I haven't read the third one since I published it
Hmm.
last month, and the third one takes you on a wild ride that you can't even imagine. It's the longest book in the series, and I hold no bars with that book. and it's not really about gore. It's really a story of just I can't even get into it, but it's really this story is coming about. I'm working on book 4 right now.
What?
And yeah, I just got my book cover. I can't wait to reveal it next year. And I want to reveal the book title at the end of this year. And I'm just really excited. I mean, this actually turned into a whole universe. When I was little, it was only a standalone book. It was only one book. Even 4 years ago when I finished it, it was supposed to be that's it. At the end I was going to have Crystal kill Jason, but then I thought about it, and then I started getting all these visions, and turning her into this manipulative evil person, because now we know that she's being possessed by Mastema and all these demons. So she's been being possessed by 25 demons now. So I don't even have to tell you what's gonna how
Girl.
Crystal changes and what she does, and how everyone around, like, in danger pretty much. And there's people that get turned into shapeshifters that you wouldn't even guess. I mean, it's pretty wild. It's bad.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was just like, yes, this right here, and especially at the end where Jason, he was like, "Oh gosh, are you okay?" And
Yeah.
this surprise is it's like jokes like off of Dexter surprise, motherfucker. And it was a it was a dad.
Daddy
And
is back.
I said, oh, they gave me a heart attack right there. She's like, surprise, motherfucker. But it was of the dad, inhabiting her body because she crushed the amulet
Yeah.
inside
Yeah.
of her. And
Yeah.
that is like that move right there. It was like, what is she doing? But then again, I got to thinking about. I said, oh, it's gonna be some more chaos down the road. I said, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Because
I
she was
cannot
told,
wait.
not, like, from her mother. Her mother wrote in the letter to not take off the stone no matter what. And in this book that Trey had found, the book of
Hmm.
the tale of the brothers, and she reads it, and it only warns to not take off the necklace. That the whole point of the brothers extracting the father from the stone is that they have to take the necklace off of her, kill
Right.
her, and then dip the stone in her blood. But she has to be dead for them to do that.
Hmm.
But then she's wondering, well, what happens if I bleed while I'm wearing the necklace? What happens if
Hmm.
the blood touches it while I'm wearing it? And then
Hmm.
that's when she, towards the end of the book, she's like, well, F it, like, I'm just gonna do this and see what happens. But it backfired. And I mean, and then the worst part about it is that Tilly knew, and then you meet Tilly, the old lady from the beginning that
I
was
love
warning,
Tilly.
and
Yep.
the southern belle.
Hmm. I love
Oh.
Tilly. She tickled me how she came up in the police station. I was like, yeah, she tickled me. I love this little old lady, Tilly, and everything. And come to find out, what's her name? Simone. That's her
Simone,
grandmother.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they were
Simone's
family.
grandmother. And then come to find out, Simone and Crystal and her
Or-
sister, yeah, they're cousins.
yeah.
I was like, what? Y'all kinfolk? Y'all didn't know this? And then I got to thinking about Papa was a rolling
Rolling
stone. Do do
Stone.
do do do. He lay his hair. We
Yeah.
lay home.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was the 3rd of September.
Mhm.
I said they
That's
didn't.
yeah.
I said they didn't even know they were kinfolks. I said that's wild right there. That was pretty wild, but also,
Yeah.
um, what do you like from you being a black woman and like representation like of in horror literature and stuff, like what is your expectations and how do you see black women in horror like literature, art medium, television, movies, things like that, especially writing
Mhm.
horror literature. And when I
Mhm.
found out that L.A. Banks and Octavia Butler were like black women horror writers. And this was like back
Mhm.
in 2015.
Mhm.
I was so
Mhm.
pissed because I was like, you know what, I'm late to the game, but how come we're not, Black women in literature, horror literature is not exposed like it
Hmm.
is. We're coming, it's coming out, but it's
Hmm.
been around. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, even with me, I've always been looking to read more work from African American female writers and horror writers, and it has been such a struggle. And I think even when you have like Octavia Butler, and I think there was another, I always butcher her name, but is Tanin Nariv Due? Is that her name? Ta- Tanin
Let
Nariv
me
Due?
let me look her
She's
name.
from horror noir. I'm always butchering her name, but she seems like really nice woman. She also writes horror, and she created horror noir. And you don't really hear. I mean, a lot of people buy her books or Octavia Butler, and that's the thing. Um, not a lot of us are being exposed, and it all stems down to the fact that we've been told that we're not marketable, and that's why we don't see enough of us, because I guess they feel that we won't sell as much as our white counterpart. Like, we won't sell as much as, let's say, a white female horror writer. I don't really know why. I do believe that in time, we will be seen more and heard more, but I think within the community, that's where it starts. And I think that in our community, we need to be able to kind of discover each other and share each other and put the word out. That's the only way that we're going to be known. At the end of the day, we want to be seen, and we want to be heard, but at the same time, we're being kept hidden,
Right.
even by the same people that want to see more of us are the ones that are keeping us hidden. And when I was younger, I saw that as a problem. When I was 11, 12 years old, I felt that as a little girl, that I'm watching all of these different movies and seeing a white female protagonist, and in these situations, and I said, well, why can't we see more of us? I remember speaking to Tyrone, and he spoke of Abby, and I've never seen that before. I actually watched a little bit of it on YouTube. It's pretty crazy, her being possessed by sexual demons, but to me, like, it was pretty cool seeing that. It's kind of like this hippie 70s jive type horror esque
Hmm.
movie. But
Hmm.
I loved the character, I mean, she was badass. But I think that that it was okay. Like, I guess we accepted that, like in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s, that it was the norm to not see us in those positions, in those roles, playing these characters. Most of them are always victimized. We never really saw too much of the strong protagonist, except for in the Halloweens and the Screams. But we want to see a Black woman, because a Black woman has the same potential to give you to give you that sense of, yeah, this is a strong woman, and she's powerful, and she can kick ass, and we can do that too. But when are we going to actually get that chance to be exposed in that way? And I think that's where it came from with me and my dreams in my book. Yeah, I was a little girl that had a dream, that this was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know how I was going to implement any of this. And I feel like I had an epiphany at
Hmm.
37 years old. There were so many other things I wanted to do, and somehow God steered me to this. It was just kept pushing me. And if you asked me if I was able to do this 10 years ago, I would have said, hell no. There's no possible way I could rewrite this story. I don't even know where to start. And I took one standalone book and turned it into a complete universe. And I feel like at the end of the day, my job as a Black woman is to make sure that if I could be the first Black woman self-publishing author to get this story out, I'm going to do what I can to get it out, because it will be out. I want women of color to be able to embrace this. There's too much of us embracing stories, um, that don't properly, just they don't show us, in a right in a way that we want to be seen. Like, I was reading a book by a popular white male author, and he killed off the black girl, and she was the strongest character. She was the strongest character. She's actually the one that helped out to keep these other white girls alive. And he killed her off. He killed her off and used her as a prop in the story, where everyone was just trying to find out who killed her and everything like that. And I said, really? Like, we couldn't keep this one black girl going, and I didn't even finish the story because I said this is bullshit. I said I don't want to read this, you know. And I was in a book club, you know. I was the only black girl in the book club, and I told them, I said, I can't read this because they killed a black girl off. I don't think a lot of these girls understood where I was coming from, and I didn't really care. I just said, I'm not reading this book anymore. I'm not doing it because we're not being represented in the right way. We're represented as hood, represented as you know, just trash, and that's not what we are. That's not who we are. That's not what we are. You know, melanin women are very beautiful. We're very strong. You know, just persevere, and that's something that I show in my character, Crystal. Yeah, she's not perfect, and yeah, she's a strong protagonist, but she makes mistakes just like everybody else. But she learns from those mistakes, and she figures out a way to make things better, and that's what I love about her. And I want a lot of women, even more women of color, to embrace this character and to read about her, you know, because as you keep going with this novel, you're just going to be like, you know, this girl needs to be the final girl. Where's our black final girl? You know, like a real deal black final girl. And that's my job, to make sure that that happens one day. And I'm not going to stop till that happens, to get this story out, to get this character out, to show that any black women can, you know, create a story, and that we're going to be seen more. That's just the whole point, you know.
Yeah, for real. It is. Because I mean, I don't even blame you for not continuing that book of killing the black girl. I'm just like, what? That don't even make sense. I'll put that damn book down so fast. But you know,
Now,
and I looked up the lady that you was talking, Tanavir Do.
I'll tell you,
Okay,
I'll be chopping her name up. My
yeah.
bad.
Just slaughtering her name, just there.
Yeah,
But I
I
just
don't
looked
mean
it
to do that.
up. I just looked her up. But you know, we do like in like what you just said. Like I could not stand how they represent us in you know, as characters, movies, television, everything else. It's two dimensional, like you said. We look like trash, and or we like hood, or we
Hmm.
you know, feeble minded, and I was just like, what, you know? I'm just like, and
Hmm.
I'm just like, it's more to us than just these stereotypical roles that they write for black women.
Hmm.
And you know, even you know, we're around the same age, and you know, of the movies and stuff, like you said, the horror movies, we just didn't see enough of us.
Hmm.
I was watching was like Nightmare on Elm Street. Was it not Dream Warriors, but it was the fourth one where they
Hmm.
killed off the main girl, and then here comes Alice, and she had a friend. It was this black chick. She was the
Oh
nerdy geek
yeah,
black chick,
was that the?
and
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, and when you got so interested in her, but
Hmm.
they wrote her just as thin as like the whole plot of the movie. And
Hmm.
you know, the only thing that we remember her is when Freddie got to her and she was having an asthma attack, and he's like, "You wanna suck face, bitch?" And that was it. That's all we knew of her. And I was
Hmm.
just like, I was more interested in her than fucking Alice. You know what I'm saying? And even though
Yeah.
Alice was the main protagonist, I was
Hmm.
like, I don't care about Alice. She's boring. Like, Freddie can kill her. But I was more
Hmm.
interested in the black girl. I
Yeah,
forgot her
because when
name.
yeah, when we see each other, when we see ourselves like in a character in these movies, we get excited. I don't think people really realize that. I think that white people can't say that. They can't sit, you know what I'm saying, because they're all over the place. But as a black person, you'll never
Right.
understand that feeling when you see another actual black actor, black character, um, in these movies. How excited, how your eyes just light up when you see yourself, you know, in that character. You're like, yeah, 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 you know.
they'll never experience that feeling. It just takes you somewhere when you see that. You're just so happy, but it doesn't last long.
No, it doesn't. And I wrote an article about Black women in horror, and one of the main points that I pointed out is that we either play a stereotypical role, the
Mhm.
sassy neck popping, sidekick, or we
Mhm.
get killed like within 10, 15 minutes of the movie, or we
Mhm.
just push back as background and just fade away.
Mhm.
And I noticed that in the horror genre, and it
Mhm.
was some times that I wanted to give up and not watch horror because of that.
Mhm.
But I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna keep sticking to watching horror, but I know somewhere down in the future,
Mhm.
somebody gonna pop up and gonna
Mhm.
represent.
Mhm.
Somebody's gonna do that. And Angela Bassett, uh, she did that. Now,
Mhm.
Grace Jones did a movie called Vamp. I remember that, but her, it was okay. Like, it was okay. It was a fun, kooky, little weird movie
Mhm.
because she's a vampire.
Mhm.
But it was just, oh, it's just Grace Jones playing, being herself and everything as a vampire. It
Mhm.
wasn't like any type of substance with her character.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a lot of black women during the 80s that was in horror movies. And if it was they got killed like on what was like Friday 13th, New Blood with Jason, with the girl who had the telekinesis powers. uh
Mhm.
those two black characters got killed.
Mhm.
Of course, we had Kincaid in Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
now he was fleshed out, but guess what? They killed him off.
Mhm.
Um, God, it's like a few that we just it was far in between in the 80s, but it was just either you killed off or you just faded in the background.
I
But
mean, we weren't valued in
it
these
really
type of
wasn't.
in those type of movies. And even if, like, when I watched horror noir, even the actors that played in these, well-known actors that played in these movies, said how, these weren't characters they wanted to play, but because they needed a check, they took they took the role. So
Yeah.
even though we sit here and of course we say, well, we're depicted in this way, think about it. The writers of this movie, directors, whatever, they put this together, they create this character,
Mhm.
but it is the actor that takes these roles,
That's
so
correct.
they allow themselves to take on these roles that are demeaning, even though they don't want to. They have to, because they need to survive. And that's the whole thing in the film industry, is that people will take whatever they got to take so they can put food on the table, even though they don't like it and they don't accept how they're being put, they're being put out there. And we've seen it over and over again, decades and decades. We've seen it in Scream, Scream 2, Jada Pinkett, and it dies in the beginning. What was it with was it Omar Epps?
Yeah,
And they
Omar Epps.
die and they died in the beginning. And then you had Elise Neal, which obviously was the friend, the sidekick of Sydney, but of
Yes.
course they killed her off. Such a strong character, loved her, just had this
Yes.
sass, this great energy. And of course they had to kill her off, pretty much. Like, and then they killed off the black guy that was played Rudy's best friend in Cosby Show. He was in Scream 3, and he played
Yes.
Randy for the Stab movie, and he got killed as well. So it was like we just were not like valued. Well, actually, no, I forgot his name. He's the I think was that Tisha Campbell's husband. He played the camera
Dwayne
guy in
Martin.
Scream 2. Yeah, that he
Yes.
played
Ye-
the camera guy for Gail
Yep.
Weathers. So
Dwayne
he
Martin.
actually
Yep.
he actually survived, but he survived because he dipped out after Randy died. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not." And then he came back. He came back in there for his job, and she's like, "Where have you been?" He's like, yeah, we don't survive in this shit. I'm out." So he was the smartest person to leave and then come back at the end, and he survived. So that was funny. I enjoyed that. But but this is where, like, even when you see Jordan Peele, which what I love about him, because when I watched Get Out, to see that two black men got out of this situation alive, and was able to survive this debacle of crap, that was going on in this little town or whatever. I said, yeah, we have somebody, but we're not going to only have Jordan Peele. We have Jordan Peele opening these doors a little bit, and I think it's because of the death of Wes Craven that now he's able to kind of get, sometimes
Right.
some doors have to close in order for other doors to open. It's just unfortunate that we lost, a really great film director, of all time. Wes Craven was absolutely phenomenal. And but there's certain things with him also that I did some research on, especially like the black movie that he did, The Serpent and the Rainbow, which dealt in Haiti, but that's another topic for another day. But I feel like, because when he passed away, it was like an opening for Jordan Peele as a
Yeah.
black man to kind of like put his creativity out there, which he didn't even think that they would put his work out there like that. He was taking a chance. And for me, I hope that opens doors for women like me, who is in like the whole screenwriting, and I'm just in the beginning of that, and a film major, and wanting to do something and producing film and stuff with stories such as this, and having more of a diversity. And that's another thing that I push a lot,
Mm-hmm.
on my pages, with my stories,
Mm-hmm.
is diversity, which is so important. Because not only do I have black characters, I have white characters, I have Asian characters, Hispanic characters, and I try to implement, just a mixture of people, because I believe the Brothers Curse doesn't only attract one type of, one group of people. Sometimes you read these horror books, and a lot of these horror stories only attract just one group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go to a lot of people's pages, you go on Instagram, you won't see a lot of them having pictures of black people holding their books. You'll see a lot of whites. You go on The Brothers Curse. The Brothers Curse is a book that unites everyone. You have
Right.
blacks, you have a black woman, you have a black man, you have a white man, you have a white woman, you have his Hispanic, LGBTQ, which is what I add to the book too. We have Trey, who is not just your typical gay guy. He has a little bit of sass, but he also has, a very strong male characteristic, kind of like Lafayette from True Blood. You know, he has, like, just that feminine, but also that, don't mess with me, and that's a very strong character. I mean, this guy goes through a lot of hell. Um,
Yeah, he actually does. Trey do go through so much. I was like, and I'm so glad he came out alive. But oh
mhm.
my gosh, I was like, baby, no. Oh my God. Oh, but Lafayette, played by the late, what's his name? Ellis Nelson.
Yeah.
He was, he wasn't really a character, in the books,
Hmm.
but since like HBO adapted, Charlene Harris, The Southern Vampire Mysteries, and they
Hmm.
just like Lafayette was just like this character like in the show, but everybody loved Lafayette and it just took off.
Hmm.
And it was like you could see more of Lafayette. You see more of Tara. Tara wasn't, in the books she wasn't black, but
Hmm.
she's black in the show.
Hmm.
What is that girl name? She's on what's that show? Queen Sugar something like. I
Queen
have
Sugar,
not.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't seen that yet.
she's in she plays. I forgot the girl name, and it was like very strong in my mind, and then it just like. But I love how she played Tara. She really did play the heck out of Tara, and I was like, ooh, she got
Hmm.
that country ass
Oh yeah,
accent down
yeah, she
hard.
does. She does. She does. I love her interaction, with her and Lafayette being cousins, and I just, to me, True Blood was it had that little bit of like that diversity, with her mom all acting all crazy, and then she turned into some like church lady towards
Girl,
the end. It's, I didn't like the fact that Tyra died at the last season. I hate the last season. I just want to make that clear. Not my
I
favorite season at all.
I like stopped watching it because like it just seems like it's just like gratuitous sex, kill,
Mm-hmm.
sex. I'm just like, come on, where's the story at and everything else?
Mm-hmm.
Because like at first it came out like, oh, it's a little sexy, you know. I said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, shit, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
got skills and everything else. But
Mm-hmm.
then it just got extremely just repetitive with the sex, and I'm just like, look, if I just want to watch porn, I just go watch me a porn. But I just want to watch the vampires and the whole story,
Mm-hmm.
Bill and god dang Sookie
I
got on my
know.
fucking nerves with all that. I'm like, by this time, Heifer, like you got these fey powers, you should
Yeah.
like get your ass out some shit this time. I was like, Lord have mercy. I said, she just got on my damn nerves. And so I just
Yeah.
watched the other characters and just, just put a block on Sookie's ass and everything. Cause I mean, I love Anna Paquin and stuff, but God, dog, she just got on my fucking nerves playing Sookie's vampire.
I met her. We did
Oh,
a
you
we
have?
Yeah, we danced together at a ballet studio in Manhattan, and that was the first
Awesome.
time I met her many moons ago when she played Rogue on X-Men. I was like 21. I'm like the same age as her, and I realized it was her, and I was like, hi. And then we had to do like this like duo like twirl or whatever, like this pirouette dance thing and stuff. But she dipped really quick, but she was nice when we were dancing. We were like chatting a little bit, and I was like, yo, she's mad cool. So.
I mean, I know she is mad. I can tell she is mad cool and like, and
Yeah.
she does. I mean, she's been acting ever since the piano.
Mhm.
That was like her debut movie around like 11 years old.
Mhm.
She started off as a child actor,
Yeah.
but she got on my nerves as playing Suki. She played the hell out of Suki, but I was just like, oh, Suki. But like Anna Paquin, she really did. She's a wonderful actress. But
Yeah. She played a little
but
bit too much of the damsel in distress. I
yeah,
think that,
she really
yeah.
did.
Yeah. My only favorite season, and I just bought this on eBay because I couldn't find it anywhere else, was season 4, and that was with Marnie when she was like, when she was making like, when she was like possessing the vampires and making them go out in the sun. And she turned Eric into like this sap, and that's when like Sookie and Eric had sex throughout the whole damn season, until like Sookie zapped him with her Fae powers, and then he went back to Eric ways of being like this Sookie's bitch. It was such a good like season. Like I love that season so much, but yeah, I mean she was too much of a damsel in distress for me.
But that day, Marnie was something else, and that the actress who played it, that's
Mm-hmm.
Petunia off of the Harry Potter. See, I was like, look at you, Petunia, you finally got your powers, even though you skipped Hogwarts, you done went to somewhere else.
She was on Passions.
Yes, she
She played. She was the butch that was with the one that was obsessed with Louise. She used to date Louise, the one with the what was her name with the short black hair. She was crazy. She was the one that hit Sheridan in the basement while she was
oh
pregnant with Louise's kid. What was her
oh
name? And it was her and Marnie. And Marnie was the butch. Remember with the grandmother and stuff. And they were trying to hide like they were hiding like Sheridan. Oh my god, no, I just have to
yes, yes, oh my god, I know. Oh, I forgot the name of the lady, but I know exactly what you talk because she did. Damn. Oh, she had. Oh God, I forgot that. Oh crap, I know who you talk because she was Looney Tune. She
Yeah,
did. She was.
yeah.
I see her
Beth,
face.
Beth, Beth. I was just
Yeah,
googling it.
yeah. She was Looney Tune and I hate Sheridan of
Yeah,
Louise's mind, and she kind of
yeah.
reminded me of Lisa's Renna character from Days of Our
Days of Our
Lives.
Lives. Yeah,
Yeah,
when
she
she was with
reminded me
Bo.
of like
Yeah.
the haircut and the bee stung
Mhm.
lips and stuff.
Mhm.
All
Mhm.
them, all them fillers, but
Yeah. Because
but
that took me back when you were talking about Passions. When I saw Marnie, I said, "Oh wow, she was the butch that was helping Beth to because she liked Beth." And then, when they kidnapped Sharon and put her in the basement. So it was just so funny to see her in that. And I could see that because she's always kind of like in these supernatural type, shows. And I love that I saw her just in that character. I love anything with magic and witches. And that's another thing I like to implement in my story. So, you take so much when you watch like these shows, even a soap opera like Passions with the drama and mixed in and stuff like that. I love a story. There's so much you can do with a horror story, and horror should just only be horror. And that's why I implement thriller and mystery and romance and just all these other things that you can't even put the Brothers Curse in one element. It's just like it's just filled with so much more, and it's all about the story. If I can take you to another world that kind of like a soap opera type thing, but with demons, then that's good. That it's just all about enjoying the ride. I think people take reading stories so serious. I don't know what people are looking for. I think people look for who's reading what, and that must be popular because if that person likes it, and then we have to get this book. And granted, yeah, the Brothers Curse is out and people see it, and I know people would love to grab it, but I don't think they want to give me the credit as a Black woman. And that's where I say, how do we as Black content creators and Black women in literature get our voices heard and our names put out there so people know who we are? Because I'm not writing just for myself. I'm writing for you. I'm writing for all those other Black women, all different kind of women out there.
Right.
I saw a little girl that waved to me, and she said, "You're pretty." And I said, "You're pretty too." And when I looked at her, I said, "That's who I'm writing for little girls like that, to see themselves in that character." That really solidified myself as a writer, is that's who I'm writing for. It's not just about making money, because you don't make that much money. Not right now, not in the beginning of, your stages as an author. My goal is to get the story out, is how this story impacts someone like listening to how you felt about certain scenes in the book. I would love to watch the movie with you. Like, if this turned into a movie, you gotta come and watch it with me.
Hold
I
on, hold on.
gotta.
I was gonna ask you, can I be an extra?
Of course, girl, of course you could be an extra, and I'm not kidding. Like, I'm here to add people that I meet. Like, it's all about us bond, like, coming together. And of course I definitely can have you as an extra. There's so many different like parts and different scenes and stuff like that. I already thought of one.
Oh, 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 oh.
I could add you.
Yeah,
That's what we're looking for.
thank you. Well, okay, then you always keep me in mind and stuff. I'm ready for it.
But yeah,
but
that's that.
but for me, just being a podcaster, and like you said, like for us to like push through the forefront of us being recognized.
Hmm.
I didn't get into like podcasting just because, oh, I can make so much money off of this.
Hmm.
It wasn't all about that. It was more
Hmm.
about the art. It's
Hmm.
more about me as being the storyteller of like
Hmm.
my perspective as a Black woman, of how I view different horror movies, different genre
Hmm.
like science fiction, fantasy, and things like that.
Hmm.
And and I know, like, when and in our community, it's like, it took a long, and it took a long time for our community just to be accepting of Black people, and loving cosplay and anime.
Hmm.
It took a long time, and for that acceptance. And
Yeah.
so, and I feel that with you and me and like others, you know we're gonna make it, where we, hey, we're here, you know, horror is our thing. Love our, stories, love
Hmm.
our podcast, peer from our perspective, because we have not only you in mind, but also for those, those little black children, say like they like, oh, I don't like this different story, like with you, with literature, but like, man, I'm sure in the horror, and
Mhm.
they won't feel ostracized of reading a horror novel
Mhm.
because they see themselves in that book. They see themselves
Mhm.
as a character. They're not
Mhm.
afraid to say, "Hey, I like horror novels." Whoopie doo. You may get like that backlash from your family members or friends, like, "Oh, you're a little weird." Why don't you read something a little bit light or whatever? But they will sit there and say, "Well, I see myself in this. Hey, be a little bit open. Like, read this book. You can see something in this." And that's another thing when I pop my aunt for a cherry
Mhm.
is that you know they look at scary movies. Of course, they don't see themselves like long time ago, and everything else. They're a little bit older. But
Mhm.
when we watched The Army of the Dead, she's like, "Oh wow, this story." Yeah, she's seen
Mhm.
like the zombies and everything, and she got so into it.
Mhm.
And I was like, let me ease her in, you know what I'm saying? You can't
Yeah.
go, "Wah!" Go full force. So I
Mhm.
eased her into that because a lot of times whenever you're talking about horror, and explaining it or you get excited over it, guess what? I'm not interested in that. But
Yeah.
they don't see the excitement how you are about, the horror genre or fantasy or science fiction. And usually you get
Mhm.
like the negative feedback, like, well, it's not real life,
Mhm.
and they sitting there watching reality TV, like all the drama and stuff. It's like you're gonna see something like that, like within a horror novel or fantasy novel or science fiction with, characters that look like us. And like you said, diversity and everything because you
Mhm.
really like taking it of how you live in the world. And
Mhm.
and like you said, like you see one particular group in a lot of horror, the writers and everything else in their story. But you made it where it's everybody. And
Mhm.
that's another thing that I like about it is because it's like, you know what, this is really set in the real world.
Mhm.
It really is. And I know people like, oh, diversity, yes, great, but blah blah blah. No, everybody is set in the real world. I
Mhm.
mean, if everybody was made the same color and same build, phenotype and everything would be boring.
Yeah, it would
It,
definitely be
it really
very
would. It would
boring.
be boring. It would be extremely boring. But that's what I liked about your book. I like the way how you present these stories that anybody can just grab it and read it and see themselves, and not just only just black people. You can see like they can see a Hispanic character, LGBTQ, all
Mhm.
of that. And it's not like you doing it just because like of how current our world is. You just doing it because you love people. You love to you live in an environment where it is everybody. And it's
Mhm.
the same thing with me too. I live like there's so many my neighbors down the street. They're Hispanic. I mean, this was
Mhm.
like a once upon a time a all black community, but we have lots of people. We have a lot of diversity, and of course,
Mhm.
people think where I'm from is like rednecks and KKK and all that stuff. But I'm just like, no, it's more than that. It's a lot of diversity here. It's a lot of culture here. It's just
Mhm.
people don't realize that. And so I told you I'm gonna get started on writing my little stories and everything too. But guess what?
That's awesome.
It's like it's gonna be everybody in this sucker. But when but like I said, it all starts back of us,
Mhm.
just saying, hey, wow, this is interesting. We're going to support, her because we see ourselves, even though it's not like a pain porn like Tyler Perry. Oh my God, I cannot stand Tyler Perry. And
Mm.
I cannot stand Tyler Perry movies.
That's another topic for a different day.
Oh girl, oh, I could just go deep all
Mm.
into that right there. But and I
Yeah.
and I feel that like, a lot of times we do need to be a little bit more openly of just not seeing ourselves in, you know, drama, pain porn, reality TV. It's just more
Mhm.
to us than just that.
Mhm.
And it's just more of just opening our mindsets, and especially within our community.
Hmm.
Uh, this need we used to be uh, relished and celebrated, especially in the Harlem Renaissance and back in the
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
We used to have that.
Yeah,
We used to,
we need
Langston
that.
Hurst. Yeah, we need that again. Langston Hurst and Zora. I said that wrong. Langston Hughes, excuse me. Zora Neale Hurst.
Hmm.
Lorraine Hasbury, Raising the Sun. We were like lauded and applauded
Hmm.
of
But this is
in
time. But this is this. But this is also the time now
mm-hmm.
for discover. There's so many. It's, you can praise the same people for so long until now you start discovering new people, in this generation that have these
Right.
stories. The worst thing is to, have something and keep it hidden. There's people that have imagination that can run wild and they can create multiple stories, to last a lifetime. But some people just don't even have the strength, within themselves to do that because they already think, if I do this, who's going to read it? Who's going to support me? No one's going to support me because I'm Black. I have had those thoughts when I first published a book, and I've had both of my parents tell me, you can't think that way. You can't think because you're a Black woman that you can't make it. But this has always been something that has been such a huge insecurity within myself. It's not my work. I love my work. I think that this story will come out. Not that I say if it's going to come out, it will come out one way or the other. But that's within myself thinking, oh my God, yeah, are people going to share this? Are people going to do this? And I had to realize that I have something that's special. Whether or not
Mm-hmm.
you support it or you don't support it, that doesn't mean I'm not going to make it one day with this. It's just that, of course, I have to push, hard every day. But I realize that I am grinding every day, and what I'm putting out in the universe is coming back tenfold. And I see that every day. People see what I'm doing, and people reach out to me, such as yourself, to come on a podcast, and I'm very honored. That was a thing that I wanted to manifest this year. Last year, I was doing the segments with speaking to my readers. This year, in January, New Year's Eve, I said I want to do podcasts and YouTube videos and try to get myself into that. And long and behold, starting in January of this year, I got invited to my first podcast on YouTube, and it's just keep going, and I keep getting invited, and people reach out to me. And when you see somebody working hard every day, you're like, we want to know what's going on, and just because you're rooting for people and supporting people, that doesn't mean that they're going to forget about you. That doesn't mean that you're not important. You are important because you're the reason why I'm where I am. That's the same thing as artists, whether you're like, in football, basketball, like a
Mm-hmm.
singer. It's the fans that make you who you are. If no one bought your album, then you wouldn't be nobody. It doesn't matter, who you know or who you're dating. If nobody's buying your stuff, then you're not you're not being put out there. It's your fans that make you who you are. So this was, I'm always thankful to anyone who reaches out. Even when I met you, it was through Tyrone having the segment. And I can be more blessed to have met Tyrone, because I even told him, through him I've met some really genuine people, like even people of color in the horror community. And I've been wanting to meet more people of color in the horror community so bad. I wanted to transition into that community because I saw that I wasn't looking for acceptance in the white community, but I saw that uh, there there was this kind of division that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, and it's still going. Jealousy and stuff like that. So I'm very happy to have met a community that is genuine, and that I hope that and we can do something with this. I always say that, the people, you never know what we can do. I write books, turn
Right.
into movies. You're a podcaster. We can all put all of our stuff together and create something. You know how powerful that
You
is when you put us together.
you damn right. You are so freaking right about that. And yeah, I mean, I started this podcast 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and when I getting into the horror community, I'm just like, okay, this is going to be a little hard
Mm-hmm.
because it's very male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of them are white, but then
Mm-hmm.
when you start seeing, Tyrone, and then like there's a guy in Oak Cliff, Dallas, in the Dallas area. He's
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic, and he does a lot of horror stuff, and then it started opening doors, and then I met you, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking loving this, and she writes, you know, literature. Oh my god! I said, let me go get this book. But I got it in Kindle and everything else. Um, I'm like, yo, oh my god, I'm like that, and it just opens so many doors. I'm like, oh wow, yes, we're
Yeah.
here in the horror community. I was like, yes, and it is,
Yeah.
and you know what? There still is some division with that, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
scratching my head. I'm just like, but we all love horror. And you are right. There is some jealousy out there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've gotten enough hate. Like I never knew what a hater was until I started gaining them. So
Oh
I
my,
said I must be doing it. Yeah, I got a lot, especially from like white indie authors DMing me and stuff. Like I'm gonna get a better
what?
video. I'm gonna get a better video than you, or nobody can be perfect as you. Like really sarcastic and stuff. And half these books, and I was like, why are you buying my books? And now like you're messaging me this nonsense, like I said, we're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to get somewhere with our writing, and I've always been very yeah, there's no way to really answer someone like that but to just be poised and be who you are. I'm not here for that. I don't post things as competition. I post things for people to know about my story. It's
Right.
easy to be like most that just take a picture of their books constantly and stuff like that, but I do more than excerpts from my books. I'll have illustrations of my characters. So you see what they look like, so you can picture them. Now that you read the book, you can see some of the illustrations. Like, oh, I remember this scene. Oh, I remember this character. So it's me trying to tell you the story without really telling you the story.
Right.
Just giving you. So everyone has their own methods of marketing and how they want to put their story on. I think that
Exactly.
people feel a certain way because of my persistence and my consistency, which is something that you need. I mean, it's not easy. Yeah, you have your days where you're like, oh my God, is this really going to work out? But I think it's just something within me that is just hungry for it. It's just, I'm hungry for it, like I'm tired. I work these crazy hours at work. I'm trying to bang out a book. I'm doing all these other extra things. I still have the willpower. I'm going to fail if I quit. And quitting is not an option.
Right.
And you have something that you love very much, and you're going to do everything you can to get where you are. I'm not going to let somebody stomp on a dream I had when I was in sixth grade. I was bullied in school. When I started writing, was a lot of times that my grandma wouldn't let me go out and play with my friends and stuff, and I used to just stay in the house and watch TV. So that's when I started putting my little creative mind and into a piece of paper, and I just started creating my own little world because I felt like my characters were my friends when I didn't have any. And I'm not going to allow somebody to take that away from the younger me that
Right.
had that dream and that's putting that out in the universe. So yeah, I mean, there's no there to me. I always say that this is plan A. There's no plan B. This is the only plan that I have. But it always starts with meeting people such as yourself and us bonding together, and we never know what is in store in the future. There's so many things that I want to do, and I would love to just add other people into that universe where I'm trying to go, and it's very hard to meet genuine people these days, especially on these platforms and stuff like that. And I'm looking to be around people who are serious, people who are doing things that they love, who have a passion for horror. Doesn't really matter what color you are, as like you said, we all love horror. So what's the problem? There's no different kind of horror. Horror is just horror.
Bars. You gonna make me like throw my little New York accent, Said all right right there.
It's true. I mean, you said it right there. I mean, horror is horror. Like, what's
what
exactly?
What you like? What's up, dude? Like, what's up, bro? It's just hard, everybody should just enjoy it. Everybody should just just revel in it and everything and get excited, not have this. Oh Lord, I can't believe you kept, but you are right. You got some haters out there, and oh yeah, yeah, you doing something right there. You doing something right. Look at me, I done switched to my like little accent right there.
You know what?
I'm so used to. I pick up people's accents, like if I'm listening to it, and I was like, I was like, hold on, did I just pick up their accent? I don't know. Maybe it's just how would I say it? I feel like Lieutenant Uhura, like with communications and linguistics, and I just like pick it up like
right?
that and everything. But like that. Gosh, you're just an awesome guest. I'm really loving this. I'm really loving this.
You're
but, like,
awesome
real.
too.
And like you just said, like if everybody like come together, girl,
Wouldn't that be a perfect world? It would be unstoppable, but unfortunately, the world that we live in, that's not possible. We wish that it could, Do you know how much you know how much things we could accomplish? But that's not the world that we live in, unfortunately. And people will not bond with you. It's a weird experience going through this, and I'm going on 2 years because I published my first book November 2020, and I had just finished putting my dog down a month before that, which was really painful. I'm writing a book. He's been with me through the whole time, and then now I got to put my dog down, almost 10 years old. That really hit a gut, like it just changed me a little bit. And then I was like, okay, he would want me to put this book out because I even added him in the book. There's a scene where, when Sheriff Mills goes to Joseph McGregor's house after the friend calls and says, hey, I haven't heard from him. And that's when Sheriff meets Jason. So before he knocks on his door, he runs into one of the neighbors walking his dog, Buster Brown, which is my dog.
Oh my gosh, because I was like, okay, there's a guy walking a dog, and he's complaining about the noise that's been going on late at night, and he was talking to Sheriff Mills, but I didn't know that was
good old Buster Brown. And I dedicated the beginning of the book, but he was still alive. I said, Mommy's gonna put you in the book, and then he kind of tilted his head like, what? So yeah, so I put him in there, and it kind of like, because sometimes you lose a piece of yourself. But when I first did it, the amount of love that was poured in, even friends from high school, like everybody knew I was into horror. I did a version of Scream for our senior project. One of my friends that did a author to reader segment with me, everybody knew I was writing a story. They just didn't know what it was about because I used to talk about it. He's like, yeah, I'm writing this story and blah, blah, blah. I had a friend make a cover for it. Now he's like this big like designer artist, and he did my first book cover, like a sketch of it. And people didn't really know, but they knew I was writing something, and they were like, oh shit, that's the story. And a lot of people from high school bought my first book. Then I started to started getting into the whole bookstagram and stuff like that, and I had a lot of people like getting the book and everything like that, and it seemed great. You feel like you're on top of the world. You publish this book, you don't know how to market it.
Mm-hmm.
of doing it, you know? Started off with an illustration of myself holding the stone, and then I asked the girl who was doing an illustration, hey, can you do pictures of my characters if I send you, you know, the details and stuff? She said, sure. And after that, it's 2 years I've been working with her. She lives in a different country. She's from Malaysia. And she
Mm-hmm.
does my illustrations. I found different ways to do it, but along the way, all the support I was getting started to dwindle off, and I started meeting new people. And then
Mm-hmm.
the old people that, you know, they were gone. I don't know what happened. A lot of people bought the first book, never continued with the series. A lot of people just wanted an autographed book, I guess, you know, to see if, you know, if I get big, here I have this book, here's your signature. I don't know what the point of that is. You know, I would have rather you not buy the book. It's messed up to say as an author, to say like, maybe you shouldn't have gotten it just for an autograph, because I want the story to come out. I don't care about selling it. I put these books up on an online site for 3 years, for free, and um, I got more reviews and feedback from those people around the world, hundreds of readers, than I have right now. You know, I don't even, the amount of books I've sold doesn't even equal the amount of reviews I have on that novel. It's crazy.
It is.
I've sold close to 900 books. That's printed and ebook, and
Well,
I only have 96 reviews.
well, it needs more reviews.
At
It
least it
need
needs
more.
more reviews. Yeah.
And I put a review out for you too, also.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I voted for you, and really, that's kind of weird for people just like, oh, can I just have an autograph and everything, a
Hmm.
rebook, and just never
And
just like,
yeah,
and
and
just
I'm
poof,
honored. Yeah,
disappear.
yeah. I'm honored, but the thing is, it was like this story didn't end from that first novel. It kept going because I promised each year I would produce, you know, another book of the series. So I said, okay, well, you know, I'm thankful that people bought it, but you know, it wasn't just to buy it, just to have it sitting there collecting dust, because you still don't know the story. And I had to do a lot of hustling just to get to the amount of reviews I have right now. And it's not easy. It's not easy doing that. It's not easy with people turning on you, people who swear it up and down, I'm supporting you, and then they disappear, they leave. You go through that. It's heartbreaking. Sometimes when you think about it, it makes you not want to keep going, but you have to. And but I'm someone who always meets new people anyway. That's just how I am. I meet new people, you know. And I think
Right.
at this point, I'm finally meeting people that I can relate more to, which I'm very happy that I'm transitioning into more of in this community. And I kind of feel like it's getting better, and I'm meeting people that, you know, wavelength, the same vibration, and that's really what it is. Because a lot of people were out for themselves, you know. I had a girl do a
They really.
giveaway. You know, I had one girl do a giveaway. I had two giveaways. The second one was really great. Shout out to Erica Bucci. She's really awesome bookstagrammer. But I had one girl in the beginning that did a giveaway. She didn't even know how to do a giveaway, and she literally did it so she can get some of my followers. And when a lot of my followers didn't follow her back, she cut me off.
What?
She bought my books to send. She sent books to the people who won the giveaway. What happened? She actually sent the books to herself. So she had two copies of my book. So she had to resend to other people. But she actually got upset. She had a really supposed to do the giveaway on her page and have people tag other people, and more people maybe follow me. That's what the other girl did. And that giveaway was a success. So this girl was hoping that they said, okay, I'll give you a free book, but just have your followers follow me. But not a lot
Mhm.
of them did follow her. She only had a few, and then she cut me off. She just started saying sarcastic things on my page, on my conscience. Like, oh my God, you're having another book that fast? And it was just like, well, I don't even understand people.
Funky
I
ass
mean,
people.
this was the stuff I was going through, and I'm just trying to keep it real, because nothing is, you know, is a bowl of cherries. You're just gonna meet people that seem nice in the beginning, whatever, but a lot of people are out for themselves. I mean, you know, I have people that when I once the first book took off, I had enough money. I wanted to splurge on my readers and stuff like that. So I started
Mhm.
creating T-shirts and wanting to send T-shirts with their favorite illustration on my page. A lot of people, the few people I send it to, are still wholeheartedly like loyal fans and good friends. Some people I did send a shirt to kind of cut me off right after they got the shirt. They stopped reading the
Yeah.
series.
That's and I had I had a bit of a hiccup myself because I literally dipped out of the beauty industry, I'm an esthetician,
Mhm.
15 years, and around in 2020 I started selling my private brow product.
Oh
And
wow.
I did giveaways, and I vendors, like if I
Mhm.
do like an event or something like that, whoever's running it, I was like, hey, here's this right here, try this out, et cetera, give me feedback, and nothing.
Mhm.
Maybe two or three people and everything, and and I made it to where it was like, the price point of like Elf Cosmetics. I'm not gonna sell it cheap, but I'm
Mhm.
not gonna sell it extremely high because this is my private label product.
Mhm.
And I gave it to this girl. She was, we worked together at a salon, and I was like, hey, have you can have a cut of this and everything, whatever sell. And I explained everything about the products, yada yada yada. And I went back to go check and see if she sold it. It's just sitting up there collecting dust. It's like,
Mhm. It's
oh,
crazy.
okay. I'm like, okay, I'm just, doing a trial run with this. We can have this like a retail and things like that for your
Mhm.
clients and yada yada yada. Her clients, and know about me and everything else because I have done beauty services on them.
Mhm.
And nothing. I was just like, and I just got so disgruntled and just so angry. And I was just like working my ass off. I bought these products. I spent like so much money
Mhm.
on them, and then banners. And then my son, he helps me with it and things like that. And I'm just like,
I know.
it was I did YouTube videos. I have a YouTube channel, talking about
Okay.
my services and everything else like that. I mean, it's still up, but
Mhm.
it was like,
Yeah.
just
It's just,
popping it and just popping it and popping it. And I know it takes a while.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm getting really rich, or, and everything else. But it was just
Mhm.
more of me just like taking upon myself, in the brow industry in this niche, even though I'm a
Mhm.
small business owner, of
Mhm.
this. And it just like, I don't know. And so like last year, I just sat down with myself, and I was looking for a office, and everything, a little space, and because I do
Mhm.
taxes also, I'm like, yeah, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
I can have like my this tranquility and silence. I love
Mhm.
giving my clients that really great, atmosphere of just
Yeah.
relaxation. They can fall asleep. I don't had too many people fall asleep on me when I'm brows or waxing or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just didn't pan out. And so I thought about it. I said, you know what? Maybe I am in the wrong industry. Even though I was really great, I got
Mhm.
like training, I met hey, what is her name? She's like the brow queen over there, Kelly hey, but I met her. She was
Okay.
super nice. I forgot her last name. Kelly, Kelly. Dang it, I
I'm
can't
trying to
remember.
think.
But I also met Nick Townsend, the king,
Okay.
the Brow King of Philly. I met him too.
Oh
I met
wow,
him
that's
twice.
awesome.
But I took
Mm-hmm.
a picture, and I didn't know both of them were like, they were best friends and stuff. So they were like been in this
Oh
industry
wow.
time and stuff. So I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
pretty. But it's just my passion just ran, it just faded out right there,
Yeah.
and I just got so burnt out. I got so burnt out. And it's just, to me, I was thinking, I was like, you know what, maybe I don't have that certain look, maybe that certain, panache with it, you know,
Yeah.
but when I went to podcast, I was interviewing for my products and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um and the girl who just got started and everything, she was in podcasting, and I did that interview, and I thought to myself, you know what, I can podcast. And I was like, what can I podcast? I was like, beauty? No. I was like, I'm so sick of it. I got so tired of it. Because yeah, you have to keep up with the trends and things like that, but it's just like
Yeah.
so change, it changes all the time, and I'm just like, I'm done. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is it that I really love? I said horror. I said, what is it that makes you so different? Because you're black and you were into horror, and I
Yeah.
didn't see too much. And I said, let's go with it. I ran with it. And so far within these 2 years, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have like a big following on Instagram or whatever
Mm-hmm.
like that. But it's just the passion
That
and
you
the
have, yeah.
love that I have to put this all into it. And even though I share my stuff and everything else like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
like people just like, oh, you know, well, she's not into brows and stuff or waxing. Now they're starting to ask me questions about that. And I was just like,
About
look,
that, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, look, I just dipped out of this. Like, this is my jam. This is
Yeah.
my love of what I'm doing, podcasting about horror, talking about films, uh,
Mm-hmm.
books, literature, television shows and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like y'all kind of have like a little bit of an issue, but then I got to thinking, I was like, well, that's their damn problem.
Yeah.
I'm doing
That
what
sounds like a
I,
personal problem.
it sounds like a personal problem to me and everything. And now you ask me all these questions about what you doing. Are you still doing brows and shit like that? And I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
baby. I just have the clients that have been sticking with me since 2017 and everything. I service them, but no, because you don't show me that support. Because I would be like that motherfucker like that, and so I just cut them off with like a, how your grandma had, my grandma be saying, them old women, the elders feed her with a long handled spoon. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I've been doing and stuff. And see, like you said, they waiting for you to blow up and oh this and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. But
Oh yeah,
it takes
that's
time for that.
it.
It
It takes
takes
time, but
time.
yeah, yeah. But nobody, you see, people don't want to. They don't want to go through the it's like the outcome of everything. They want to be there when
They do.
everything is like when you're out and you're this and you're like, oh my god, but where were you when I was hustling? See, that's the thing with
Thank
me
you.
too. And when I see like documentaries and stuff, and there's so many people that have touched touched my heart and that have motivated me to keep going. And the two documentaries of two hardworking people to me that keeps me going is a documentary of Tina Turner and the documentary of Kanye West. I can't even tell you how highly I recommend to watch Kanye West documentary on Netflix because I mean, luckily he was able to get like a friend of his documented his entire career from the beginning, from when he was doing beats in his house, writing and stuff. Like when he was young, he was a nobody to what
Right.
he is now, and to see that grind this guy was on was out of control. What he was doing, just the passion that this man had and just never gave up. And he started, I mean, it just shows that if you keep going, things will pan out. That's why you see some of these people that blew up, it's just a dime a dozen because a lot of people have quit along the way.
Mhm.
for me, that motivates me, because I always feel like in life that God would never give you something if he didn't know that it wouldn't become something great. Before I this my writing came back to me like out of nowhere, I
Mhm.
was training to be a bodybuilder.
Shut the front door.
So when you see my page is called Abs to Fit Coco, is because
Mhm.
I had an 8 pack. I have abs. I have pictures. If you scroll all the way down and take the time to scroll all the way down, or if you go into those little circle stories, like a little bit below like your profile, you'll see like these little circles
Mhm.
like back, you'll see pictures of my abs. You'll see me working out. I did kickboxing. Like I was going in the gym. I had a personal trainer. Like I was, forget about it. I mean, I'm still in shape. I just feel like I need to still tone myself back up the way that I was, but I still look good. But that's what I was doing. I was training to be a bodybuilder. My mom was like, I mean, what are you, she was worried. She was like, what are you going to do with your life? Like, this cannot be what's happening. You know, I was 5 days a week, you know? And then one day I was at work and I just thought about that story, my friend with this wearing the stones. And then I was like, oh, let me see if I can find a site I can just write my story. And it was a wrap. Everything just kept coming to me in drones. I just locked myself away and started. I still do my kickboxing, but I just cut the bodybuilding thing out. And I said, well, let me
Mhm.
pursue this. I would not, after all these years of losing this story and being able to rewrite it to tell me that this is not going to go someplace. And, you know, you got to believe upstairs, you know, but also you have to believe in yourself, because there's so much he can do for you that you just have to be able to tune out the voices.
Mhm.
Because everybody's watching. Everybody, you know, people watch. I mean, I think something was there was a glitch on my DMs of people like, oh my god, I can't see your page. I was like, damn,
That's hilarious.
I'm not even butthurt because I could see my page, but other people couldn't. So they were like flipping out. They thought something was wrong. I was like, relax, it's okay. I didn't post anything. But I was like, really? Like people were like messaging me. I was like, you see? I was like, literally the same people that don't even comment on your stuff.
That's
They're just like, yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
That is
yeah. So,
crazy.
so strange.
Oh, and you said bodybuilding. I was gonna do that too. Oh, this is
It's fun.
like years back whenever I had my son
Hmm.
and I'm just like trying to get the baby weight off and then I got inspired by this lady. She was a
Hmm.
bodybuilder. And so I
Hmm.
went to the gym, I talked to her, and then her trainer seen me. He just looked, he's like, you know what? You have that build for it. And because like
Hmm.
I always had people, I mean, they sit there and say, like, you got a body like a man. I'm like, no, I don't. You're being weird. Like I'm 5 foot, I'm short, and I
Hmm.
have a was a bodybuilder, like a really great bodybuilder to have like that frame of like the broad shoulders, the
Hmm.
small waist, and
Hmm.
the hips and stuff like that to
Hmm.
carry on, to have the muscles to pop out and things like that. And
Hmm.
so I was like excited because I was like, yes, having a baby, I was a wife and a mom and things like that. I was like,
Hmm.
ooh, let me get in this because I've always wanted to do that. I always wanted
Hmm.
something like that.
Hmm.
And so I started training at this gym and I was like asking, then my husband, I was like, yeah, I want to get into bodybuilding, and that's always been one of my bucket list things and one of my dreams to do and compete and things
Hmm.
like I was want to go for it. And he was just like, no, I don't want you to go up there to the gym because you're trying to get good and looking and stuff like that. You're flirting with the trainer. I was like, the lady who inspired me is married.
Yeah.
She's not having an affair with her trainer because she's pretty happily married, and things like that, yada, yada, yada. But you couldn't explain to that fool, you know,
Yeah.
you couldn't
Yeah.
explain that to that fool like that because this was something for me. And,
Yeah.
and this is something that I could like really pursue,
Hmm.
and things like that. And I've always, been complimented like how my shape is and things like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah, I want to push this, do that and everything. But, his ass. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to talk about this. And then I had to like go up there and I'm like, look, I can't do it. My husband, he's like, you know what? I get that same thing too when women want to pursue bodybuilding and work out and things like that to have something for themselves. And then their husbands object to it because they think they're trying to get, really fine for another man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, this is fucking insecurity. And it's not, and it wasn't even the point. This was about what I wanted,
Yeah, but trust me,
out.
that kind of workout is not about getting, it's not about impressing, anyone or trying to get somebody on the side. Like, bodybuilding takes a lot of work, and it's
Discipline.
it's it's a lot of discipline, and it's no joke. I was already in like staying fit doing the kickboxing, and then I had to reduce my cardio
Mhm.
and do more weights.
Mhm.
And I document, I got videos on Instagram all the way down. Like, you can see me pushing like crazy weights, doing legs, doing arms. I had a bodybuilder for a trainer. She was a Russian girl, tall, and she was built, man. And the what she put me on was crazy. Like, the meal plans, I had to weigh my food. I had to make 6 meals a day. I had to
Mhm.
eat 6 meals a day that consists of chicken, broccoli, and I had to weigh it. It had to be the same percentage.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot. I had to obviously cut out carbs. I already cut out
Mhm.
carbs and sweets and stuff like that because I was a borderline diabetic, but I reversed it because it runs in my family. So that's when I
Mhm.
started losing a lot of weight from that. But it's a lot of discipline. And I worked, I pushed, but it was something that I wanted to do, and I felt great about it. I quit smoking cigarettes 5 years ago, and I think that when I started to take care of myself, which I always say self care is the best care, is when I started to stop and stop smoking cigarettes
Right.
and start eating healthy and working out and having a peace of mind, able to function better. I was going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. My sleeping pattern at 4:30 in the morning because I had to, walk my dog. I had work at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I was up 4:30 every day. And then from doing that, that's when I got into my writing. That
Mhm.
same schedule I had when I was working was, it felt more healthier. It was able to function.
Right.
I was able to do stuff, and I think working out for that, I don't think I'd have been able to do what I'm doing had I had been on an unhealthy, unhealthy habit that it just,
Right.
you gotta take care of yourself. But that stuff is no joke. The bodybuilding, it's no joke at all. But you see results because you can still see the muscles, like when I like flex, you still see it in my
Mhm.
back. It's just my thighs I gotta tone up and stuff. But get my abs, that's pretty easy. Do some sit-ups with the what is it, that muscle ball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's another ball like they
The
call it,
the
but like, yeah,
I know what
medicine
you.
ball is a
Yeah,
medicine
medicine
ball.
ball.
And you can use that, and then you can use the ankle weights and then
Mhm.
some dumbbells, and you're good to go. So I do workout, in my house and stuff like that, because of course they closed the gym in my neighborhood, and then I'd have to travel like donkey far to like go work out and stuff like that. So it's a lot, but I'm happy something that you love, and it's about doing things that you love. You're put in this world to not work a 9 to 5 job and die. Like, you're here to like do something that makes you happy. And I think then it's like everything that everyone else is thinking or saying. I don't understand why most people live for what other people think about you. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. To me, I feel like, what I'm doing, it's like, oh, if I don't buy your book, or, you're never going to make it. No, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean shit to me, because
Right.
I believe in myself, and when people take that chance on and appreciate it, then it makes me happy because I know that I'm doing something right. You know,
And
that's
you,
just what it is. And sometimes God puts something in your hands just to steer you off to something else. Just like when you're doing the browse, but it kind of got you into like the podcast. Sometimes you needed that to get you on another path.
that is true. That is very true. And this path has led me. And I was just like, you know, uh, before I said to myself, I was like, you know what? I want to take a different route with this. I said,
Mhm.
I said, I said, people always watch a lot of movies. And I
Mhm.
said, what about books? And I'm a big avid book reader.
Mhm.
And and I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and dive into the literature part. And so when I had my other guest David J. Harrison when he did recursion, and I was just like blown away about his work and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I didn't even realize that he has been following me and things like that. And he's also, which surprised me and everything, that he actually have been listening to the podcast for a while. And he was asking me questions. I was like, hold up, you've been paying attention to me? I was like,
Surprise.
what? And then it like shocked the shit out of me. And then I had a friend, I went over to his house and I said, and he was like, oh, can you, just follow this guy right here? And he said, yeah, I listen to your podcast when I go to work. And I was like, wait a minute. And I did not know this guy has been my friend ever since 12 years old. And he has been listening to my podcast ever since I've been throwing it out there. And I was just like, I didn't know you have been supporting me, and I said I sure do appreciate you. That's pretty freaking cool to know that one
Mhm.
of your old best friends has been listening to your podcast and you didn't even know. But
You didn't
there's
even
been
know, but
people,
that's cool.
and there's been people that have been, and the audience that I have reached out to me. They all been from Europe.
Oh
And
wow.
I was like, what? I'm like, and I was just like, oh, cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's real great. They reach out like, hey, I listen to you. You got me back into horror and all that stuff and blah blah blah. And
That's awesome.
and the story that I told you about the young lady, I did a three-part series on a local church. We air quotes being raggedy with it and everything church.
Mhm.
And she reached out and she told me a lot of things, and I was just like, I was just stunned because of what I shared about how us back in the 80s and the 90s at this church. I mean, just literally, they were just literally terrorists. I mean, just
Mhm.
stop terrorizing just black neighborhoods, come to our church and things like that and stuff, and didn't ask the parents or nothing like that. They coerced us with candy, cookies, anything else like that. I heard very
Yeah.
many stories about them, who did get on the bus and they come back hungry and and tired and things like that. And
Mhm.
doing deeper investigation, I was like, yeah, I know this is a cult and everything, but they're and I know they got their hands in everything in this town. But
Yeah.
our town that I grew up in, they literally like stopped them because they did target black neighborhoods and black children. And
Mm.
that was a very upsetting part of me just growing up, and lots of, like, not only just in my town but a lot of other kids from different towns, of them just coming with this bus, coercing them with, like, all these goodies and everything, and they sit up there for 4 to 5 hours and being
Mhm.
hungry, and they're away from their homes.
Mhm.
It was so weird. I mean, they just felt like just church terrorist stalkers terrorizing black neighborhoods.
Mhm.
And
There you could write a story about that.
it was just so crazy. But the young lady who reached out to me, and she said, I'm so glad that you made an awareness and you talked about this, of like what you dealt with, but I dealt with this too. And she
Mhm.
grew up in that church. and she's getting therapy, and I was just like, thank goodness you're getting therapy, thank goodness you're healing from this. And I gave her some words of encouragement. I told her, I was like, you have more inside of what they do. uh, the people that are ex-members, do gather them up. I said, get a really great strong emotional support system. I said, I don't want
Mhm.
them to be taken down. And I said, and she's like, you just sparked a fire up under me. I was like, because you are the one that reached out to me and told me how much you love the series and how much it deeply affected you, of you going through this, in your childhood and your teenage years, and you're out of
Yeah.
this, and it really damaged it. I mean, it damaged her. and
Mhm.
and I said, be the light, be the light, be the beacon for those to come towards you, be the one, be strong and everything, and have
Mhm.
many supporters for, just not only for you, but for you, the other people and everything, because it can be so easily they can slip back into it. And
Mhm.
that cult of personality type mentality of some churches, and using religion to control people, brainwash them and stuff, and she knows the ins and outs of it. But it took a lot for me to process that, and I was like, let me go lay down from that. That was a lot. But I was just like really blown away of how much of an impact that my voice has had in experiencing the craziness from this church, and having one of the ex members reach out to me. And I was like, I was just, I was just like, wow, that's
Yeah.
very powerful. It really is. It's very powerful. And I was like, well, damn, I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm doing something right. I am. I'm doing something right.
We.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm just gonna say it like it is and everything. But Christine, I definitely, definitely enjoyed this conversation. And
Me too.
oh my gosh, it's like Pisces powers unite.
Right? 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 That's what it's
And
about. You know what? Before we wrap, I wanted to ask you, because since you did read the novel, I wanted to know, if you'd like to come on. I wanted to do authors to readers again, and I invited Tyrone, but I also wanted to invite you if you would like to come on and talk about the Brothers Curse and your thoughts about it as a Black woman. Reading the story and how the story made you feel. So I would be honored to have you as a guest. That
I
way,
de-
this time I could see you.
I dang sure will. And I won't be sitting up with a bonnet. I don't be having these little pigtails like Pippi Longstocking. I'll be right and tight with my little fresh little makeup and everything, looking cute and natural, and all that like a bag of chips. Did I just say bag of chips? That is so
Yeah,
90s. But that's okay. That's all right
it's
right
okay.
there. I'll be
That's
I'll
okay.
be slaying. I ain't gonna do too much of a play, but I would damn sure slay. But yes, I will. I welcome that, and I will. Oh my gosh, I love it. I freaking well, Christine. Let the audience know where they can follow you.
Well, you can follow me on my Instagram. I'm abs to fit Coco, but you can type Christine M Germain with the G. I'm also on Twitter, CJ Row in caps. You could also find my Facebook page of the Brothers Curse Saga series. And yeah, you could also find me at Christine M Germain on.
And also, people out there, you big four nerds loving some literature and everything, please go to indiestorygeek.com. She is nominated for the Indie Ink Awards of 2022. Scroll them little fingers down, hit on the Brother's Curse, and nominate your girl. I'm telling you, this book does not let off of the gore, the mayhem, the macabre, everything else in this horror story. But other than that, It is very well rounded. You have amazing characters. You have a great main protagonist, Crystal. She is lit like fire, and the rest of the characters, you will fall in love with them. There was a few of them that you ain't gonna like and everything, but hey, this is a
It
very freaking amazing book. That is the Brothers Curse Saga. Um, she is definitely a hardworking woman. Her passion, her love, her heart is all in these saga books. Oh my gosh. And I can't wait to read the second one. And
is.
girl, I'm shoot, girl, you might tear off my edges, and new growth in my kitchen might be ripped off.
Oh, you're after me with this one. I can feel it.
Girl, this second book gonna clean, just snatch all my edges off. Baby, I'm sitting there putting casserole and
Oh my
everything.
god, I'm so done with you. So
Be sitting up here wearing this wig and everything. I get through with this book. I'll be like, Christine, what's up with this?
I was like, I'm so sorry. I had to keep apologizing.
Don't be
So
a girl. Do not apologize for your work of art. Do not apologize, baby. Do never. I always tell people, don't apologize. Keep it moving. But
keep it
baby,
moving.
I'm ready. I'll keep it moving. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all my edges and my new growth
Yes.
and everything.
Yeah, all of that. All of that. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear all of it.
Oh, I'm gonna be bald after I get through reading
I'm
this
so
book.
done with you. You need to stop. You need to stop.
Girl, I picked all my eyelashes and everything.
What? What? Chuck, you better forget about that, girl. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, God. But I'm gonna point this out though. I'm gonna point this out. I am. I'm gonna give you a big, huge compliment. Your books do not deal with teenagers, and thank
No.
goodness for that. So I was like, these are some grown ass people.
Mm-hmm.
These are grown ass people, and I appreciate that, especially when you. I'm just gonna say, one. I call her mediocre. Who had the blockbusters of the sparkly vampires and everything, and I was
Yes.
just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no. I mean, I read one of her books. I put it down, and I was like, I can't deal with this. We done went through all the teenager years, but this is. I really, and I'm just giving you a huge compliment. I'm so glad to see grown ass people in this book. I'm dealing with adult situations and all
Yes.
kinds of
Yes.
things,
Yeah.
and not no damn glorified teenager shit. And and I
No.
I I like my people to be grown.
Yeah.
I like for my
Yeah.
people to have adult situations because
Adult
I mean
situation,
I'm
adult jobs, going
adult.
through realistic stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Not
You're welcome.
cause girl, I'm already dealing with a teenager as is anyways and stuff. He's 15, so
Yeah.
I don't want to read no shit like that. So
I'll
I
tell I'll
do it.
tell you I'll tell you one thing. You'll really appreciate the third book because characters are like in our age. So you're gonna really appreciate it.
I
But
just appreciate.
we get with the old and the new generation. So we're gonna deal with people in their 20s, but also our old characters that are in their mid 40s that survived, whoever survived in the second book.
Hey, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I am literally down for it. But I am giving you a huge compliment on
Thank you.
that. And girl, because I was just like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
Praise praise the Lord. No, I
I was
really
like,
appreciate that.
hey, and shoot, I'm just, girl, I'm just, girl. I need to come to New York or something like that. We need to hang. I'm
Right,
serious. We need to
right,
hang,
right,
girl. Just need
right. We
to
need to
hang.
chill. We need to go out, get some food, get some grub, and chill. And crack some jokes. No doubt. Shit, I'm always looking for a buddy to hang out with.
And we can like, go and get all cute and all gussy up and everything.
There
We
you
just
go.
check
There you
check
go. And
out
then
the
we make sure.
scene, we
Uh huh.
might might find us some.
It's make sure we got pepper spray
Yeah,
because
you
New York
right
is a little
about that,
crazy.
Mission. We got some dates. You
Yeah,
right
because
about that. So you was in the kickboxing. I did some jujitsu and everything. So
yeah,
we good. We good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just want
yeah.
to look around in New York, see some good looking ass men and everything. Cause I'm tired of like these little countrymen with these big beards and they get close to a heart attack and they talking about they
Yeah.
old and I'm like, dude, you the same age as me. Well, I'm an old man. I'm like, no, I gotta be in some we're around some fresh meat.
I'm so done with you.
I'm tired of
It's
looking
so
at
much.
boots. I'm tired of looking at boots and cowboy hats and big
Oh
beards looking like
no.
hobos and everything.
Oh
And
my
and
god.
I'm just like that. I was like, even though I grew up in the country and the guy that I dated, last guy I dated, he's super country and everything, but I was just like,
Yeah. You
I need to
you'll
be.
definitely have fun. Yeah, the city is pretty. It's fun. Yeah, going on right now, but the city is still,
Oh
New
yeah.
York is definitely the city that never sleeps. So you always find something fun to do. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Of course. Of course. Well,
It
all
would
right.
be an honor to meet up with you.
It'll be an honor to meet up with you too. Hey, this is so cool. But thank you so much, Christine. I
You're
had like
welcome.
a
You're
wonderful
welcome, Keisha.
time and everything. And yes, everybody go check her out. She just like hollered out, shout out to all of her social media handles and things like that. And I sure do appreciate your listening ears. And thank you so much for listening to the Random Horror Show.